Did you know that Prince Harry's birth certificate is almost impossible to find online? I had to resort to my sleuths. Get comfortable, grab your cup of tea, your cup of coffee, your wine, your beer, because the video we're going to talk about today is so juicy. I'm going to show you the interview of this book, explosive book written by one of the most respected royal biographers in the world in regards to the British family. And she interviewed James Hewitt at length, and she put her name on that book, and he confirms Prince Harry's worst rumors. Maybe we're all, making a big deal out of Harry. Maybe he's not even a prince. Maybe. After you watch this video, let me know what you think, because oh boy.
It's one thing I have to ask you that you're not going to like, but do you think that you are ever... Do you think that you will ever manage to convince people that you are not Prince Harry's father?
I don't know.
It would be wonderful if this particular best-selling royal biographer would come up and say really what went on in her interview with James Hewitt. But we really don't have to look further, because she wrote a whole book about it, a book that became a best-selling book in 2005. And this is one of those books that she's now trying to forget, that nobody wants to ask her about it because it's too controversial. It hits too close to home. And this is Angela Levin. So we're going to get into this book. We're going to explain to you how even AI is lying to you about her connection to James Hewitt and the best-selling book about him that she wrote. And it's going to shock you guys, because maybe we're all worried about Prince Harry, and it's for nothing, because maybe there's a DNA exam that has to be done. And this is not a shade on Princess Diana, because you know that in this channel, we're diehard Diana stan. But we have to talk about this, because this is Angela Levin. She put her name to this book, and you can still buy it, by the way.
It's been a special couple days.
Who does he take after? Does he look like anyone?
We're still trying to figure that out.
Now, everyone says the baby's changed so much over 2 weeks. We're basically sort of monitoring.
Thank you for coming to my channel. My name is Paula M. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, and of course, do hype the video if you can. And you're always appreciated here. I want to say thank you for the super chats and the PayPal donations. All of I make in this channel go to the shelter, the girls' shelter. Without further ado, Angela Levin has kept herself very quiet in regards to Prince Harry. Prince Harry, of all people, should understand that he shouldn't be playing games with his own children. I do believe that he has children of his own. I don't believe that those children are Meghan Markle's, or at the very least, I do not believe that she delivered them. And I think that they've committed fraud in the way of how the kids came into this world. And I do believe that those children should not be in the line of succession. This is not a shade on these children. It's just facts. So you would think that Harry, of all people, would be sensitive to ensuring that his children do not suffer the same question mark on anything that has to do with their origin, with paternity, with maternity. But instead, he's perpetuating and condemning his children to be forever mocked, unless, of course, the royal family comes out and says, we're going to remove them from the line of succession. Because we need to know, because those children are in the line of succession and they get constitutional rights and has constitutional ramifications. If anything were to happen, he's up next. He's actually right now number 5 in the line of succession. He's just below the Wales' children. And I've always said that I share the Queen's concerns that Prince William is very reckless flying with his entire family in a helicopter or by plane. The Queen is right. So because if anything were to happen to the Wales family, knock on wood, Harry and Meghan are next up in the line of succession. So yeah, you would think that Harry would say, no, unlike me, I'm going to have my children be transparent. I'm going to make sure that the entire world knows that my kids are legit. Because Angela Levin paired up with a gentleman called Max Clifford. He was a PR guru back in the 1990s. I mean, Hollywood elites wanted this guy as their PR because he was representing everybody. If you had a PR crisis, you went to Max Clifford. Yes, Max Clifford ended up in jail for some sort of financial thing, but not for lying. Nothing in his book that he published ever he was sued about. And the author of that book, the person who co-wrote that book, although literally was Angela Levin who wrote that book, went and interviewed everybody before she put that name to that book. Because, Angela Levin, especially in 2005, guys, in 2005, the royal family had a lot of power. The internet was in its infancy, so they had a lot of control over the press. So Angela Levin was not about to put her name to a book without verification. She immediately interviewed pretty much everybody in that book, especially a certain gentleman called James Hewitt. This is when I'm telling you that AI cannot be trusted. I get a lot of times questions by the people, oh, AI or Grok say that this didn't happen. AI and Grok, they get their news from mainstream media. When you ask about Angela Levin and James Hewitt, it will say, oh, as far as we know, there were no interviews. Angela Levin never met James Hewitt. Yes, she did. And before you come at me, this is the actual book, Max Clifford. Read all about it by Angela Levin. It was a huge best-selling book. Now you can still buy it on Amazon. The reason why I chose this one is because you can see Angela's name very clearly. It is also in the front of the book. Let me play you the interview that Max Clifford gave to Alex Belfield. Yeah, Alex Belfield is in jail, but it's for issues with the BBC, and there's a lot to be said about BBC. Again, Max Clifford ended up in jail, not because he lied, but some other unrelated issue. He was never sued for what was written in his book, and neither was Angela Levin. So any of you who are going to say, well, he was in jail, I understand that. I'm not saying he didn't, but he doesn't make him a liar. He might make him a launderer or whatever, or a fraudster, but not a liar. Okay. So, and as I said earlier on, the royal family had a lot of power with the press. And even with all the power in the press, they could not suppress this book. So Angela Levin had to be extra careful as to who she interviewed, and she knew what she was risking when she put her name to this book. She knew this very well, and she went ahead with it. Not before she interviewed James Hewitt extensively, and not before Max Clifford showed her the receipts, because it is mind-blowing.
This new book, it's in your stores now. It's called Max Clifford, Read All About It. There is one final question I have got to ask you about, which has been bugging me for weeks and seeing you on every TV show and in the papers, that I don't really see any reaction to, that to me sounds astounding. You write in the book regarding James Hewitt that he was in a relationship around the time, correct me if I'm wrong, that Diana had Prince Harry.
Well, before she had Prince Harry. Yeah, I mean, what we put in the book is, and Angela Levin, who obviously co-wrote the book with this interview, James at length. James came to me years before people were aware of his relationship with Diana and asked me to keep quiet about the fact it had gone on a lot longer than people realized. So we brought it all out because James said I could bring it out. And the fact that they actually had a personal relationship, if I can put it like that, going back a couple of years or so before Harry was born.
The gist of the book is, and I'm going to tell you the story about it. The gist of the book is that James Hewitt started a relationship with Diana in 4 or 5 months after Prince William was born. Because after Prince William was born, Charles completely if he barely touched her before William was born, it became less and worse after William was born. So apparently they were friends for a long time. He was very friendly with Princess Diana for a long time. So it wasn't sexual or anything like that. But it was just after one day when he came to Kensington Palace that she was crying that things, became sexual and they became intimate. And then she really fell in love with him. But that started apparently the year that Prince William was born. And he came to Max Clifford because when Princess Diana was pregnant with Prince Harry, he was really concerned that people were going to connect the dots and that his life would be in danger or that things could happen to him, because everybody knew that he was in a relationship with Princess Diana. So he approached Max Clifford and said, I am I'm involved with this very high profile individual and I'm worried because she's pregnant now and she's about to give birth. And I'm very, very concerned because this is actually quite serious. So Max Clifford took him on. And what they decided to do was to deny that he ever met Princess Diana prior to Prince Harry's birth. But it's not true. And this is what Angela Levin interviewed and read. And Max Clifford showed her the receipts of when Max Clifford met James Hewitt. This is why Angela Levin felt very confident to put her name to this book. And the royal family is very quiet. And you would think that big YouTubers who interview Angela Levin would ask her about this. But no, nobody wants to talk about it. In the meantime, we're all anxious thinking, we're all anxious for nothing. It could be very well be that Harry's not even a Windsor. It very well be that all it will take to get rid of Harry is just a DNA test with Charles and make it public, because the doubts are real and they're there for a reason. Isn't that something, beautiful people? What do you think? Should people request this? Why isn't Angela Levin talking more about it? And if you go to other channels where Angela Levin appears, can you put pressure on those YouTubers to ask her about this book? Can you ask her about this book? Can you please nag her about the book? Because I think we all deserve an answer. Let me know what you think. And once again, don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe, because Harry is a dead ringer for James Hewitt. And that would make it so easy, and it would make sense, his personality, his lack of duty, because James Hewitt turned out to be a rat, and he sold out Princess Diana, which was very terrible, if you ask me. But this could all be solved very quickly. Yes, it would be a scandal, but it'd be for the better. It would be best for the monarchy. Scandal for Harry, but then I think he would have his doubts resolved. So he wouldn't be a prince. He wouldn't be in the line of succession, and neither would be his children. But he'd be a Spencer, which is what Meghan cares about, because Meghan only cares about being linked to Princess Diana, because this woman is absolutely insanely obsessed with Princess Diana. Let me know what you think, beautiful people.